Hi, you guys. So I'm at Disney and we're back and I'm wrecked. Want to tell you a cool tip for Disney that I figured out. If you're really sore from walking and your back hurts from standing in line, when you go on the Disney buses, to go park to park or to hotels, if you sit on the very back of the bus on the motor, it acts as like a heater cushion for your bad back and your butt from walking. Okay, before we get into the recap of the Valley, let's talk about Aaron Nosler for a minute. That's Michelle's ex-boyfriend. So the thing is that on Girlfriend Day, which nobody really has ever heard of, Aaron Nosler does a very strange thing. He posts this strange post. Let me show you. It's him ripped, obviously, in very good lighting, without his bug eyes. And then you see like this 1980s, almost like sex ed poster on the left where it says today is National Ex-Girlfriend Day, and like a broken heart and like the guy in the background and the girl. And it's almost like he's implying he dumped her. I mean, it's not like we didn't have our warning signs. I mean, look at this from April 17, 2025. Jax Taylor claims Jesse Lally and Michelle's boyfriend Aaron had a scuffle at the Valley Season 2 premiere, alleges Aaron was blitzed and he fell on the red carpet. Now, Michelle Lally has already started shooting the Valley Season 3, so we know this is going to be her storyline, but kind of interesting how it all went down. Obviously, it had nothing to do with the reunions and what came out at that, because frankly, the breakup happened a few weeks ago now. I think it was right around the finale, so, he was a player with googly eyes. Oh, by the way, a friend of mine worked on that award show that was on Bravo tonight. It wasn't my thing, but he did say that Angie Katsinevis from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was a sweetheart out of all the women on the show. So giving a shout out to Angie. It's always good to be nice to people. You never know who they know. Well, I thought we would start out with Michelle and Jesse Lally on the Valley Reunion Part 2, Season 2. Why not? So there were some bombs dropped. Michelle doubled down on the fact that she kissed some guy while she was still with Jesse. So indeed did cheat on him, but not in the kind of way that I guess he was alleging with Aaron and others. Also, it came out that Jesse Lally was sleeping with his ex-girlfriend who is currently married. And so he was helping this woman cheat on her husband, but it was his ex-girlfriend. Anyway, her initial that her name begins with is A for Jesse's friends that want to get even with him. And that's all we learn about that. And Michelle, I think, got upset that Jesse and Aaron became friendly after the Valley, because in the Hawaii trip, they kind of snuggled up a little bit and Jesse manipulated Aaron, I think. And possibly Jesse turned Aaron against Michelle. It's very possible, just saying. And I think that Aaron was more interested in Michelle because of the Valley more than anything else. Typical LA guy, he wants in on her like exciting life kind of thing, right? Anyway, Michelle needs to be by herself and forget these guys in LA especially, and just like raise her kid and make money on the show and, do that. So what were the big bombshells with Jax Taylor? I mean, he's obviously lying all around. Like, we just know that nothing he's saying is really hanging in, right? First, he's on his show saying, he feels like he's the scapegoat of the season. Then he's like, I'm taking accountability and I'm totally honest about everything and I've got this, and tries to own up to everything bad. But we all know it's a lie. But some of the bombshells that I suppose came out, if you want to call them bombshells, is that Jax has been doing cocaine for not like 5 years. He's been doing it for 20 years. He started in 2001 and he's been doing coke all the way since then in Miami. Jesse too, I guess, because they were partying in Miami with that a lot. And then it turns out a few other cast members admitted they started doing coke young. Zach was one and Janet was the other. I think she said she started at 14. All right. So we won't be using this show for any kind of inspiration to any young people, that's for sure. So we're reminded again that Jax Taylor is a narcissist, which has no way to fix it. He's bipolar. He's depressed. Sometimes he self-medicates, drug and alcohol issues. Is there a reconnaissance mission for Jax? I don't know. But at least he's on meds now. Then Kristen did the usual. Janet is not being real on the show, that she's constantly trying to copy people she's seen on Vanderpump Rules and bring that in. And Kristen talks about that more on tonight's show. We deal with how Zach is when he gets really drunk. Zach gets really dark himself. We should call him Zach Darko or whatever. So we bring that whole old news up, but we kind of get Zach, which is like when he drinks, like a lot of people, and he gets set off, he's really toxic, right? When he's sober, he's great. When he's drunk, he isn't. Okay, sounds familiar? Yes, Danny. Now, oddly, Janet's husband comes so hard for Danny on the show. Nia's trying to protect Danny. But oh my gosh, Janet's husband got his, really rattled over Danny tonight, which was really strange. Anyway, if you're looking for some tea on all this that I just said, number one, Jax has been sleeping with tons of women when he was doing his podcast show, and Brittany knows it. Make no mistake, because I know for a fact some of the girls that happened with DM'd Brittany, and she blocked them, but she knows. So, there's nothing happening with Brittany and Jax, all right? That's over. That's game over. Danny Booko truly does have a drinking issue that Nia's been dealing with. Okay, that isn't just some fabrication. However, the cast have weaponized it, and they created this whole Danny Darko thing, and they called out every single thing they could attach it to villainize him. And, mainly because the cast was upset that they came off squeaky clean. So that's what's really going on with Danny and the cast, just saying. Anyway, on the reunion, Janet's attack on trying to do that yet again is to bring up the Super Bowl, and that this happened recently with Danny at the Super Bowl back in March. He was still doing those types of antics. One thing that was good about Jasmine was that Andy Cohen said her rationale for being upset with Danny Booko, because as a gay couple, you're not taken as seriously as, say, a heterosexual couple, was really touching for Andy, and it really spoke to him. And I say that would speak to a lot of gay couples. Right? People don't take their relationship as serious as a traditional heterosexual one. I thought that was interesting, and I actually was like, you know what? That's probably true. And I think that's a really good point Jasmine's making on the show. Yeah. Some people believe that the alliance between Jason and Janet and Jax, which we saw in part 2 a lot, right? Some people believe that's because Jax has some dirt on Janet that, made them have to do this alliance in some way. And then there's also what Luke said on the Vile podcast. I'll quickly play it for you.
Unless there was, they created this narrative of you're calling me a cheater, and then continued to defend it with no one bringing it back up all season. So to me, it made me think more and more like, oh, maybe this rumor is true, because why would you defend it so hard for so long with no one else talking about it unless there was some truth to it?
Well, did you see recently Ariana Madix's brother, Jeremy, commented on something saying, giving the time and place of which Jason had removed his
I did see that, and I have spoken with Jeremy.
You have?
Yes, and he told me the same thing in person prior to going public with it.
I think we've kind of taken these storylines and beaten them to death now at this point, though. It's like, wow, the cow is dry. Stop milking it. I have no idea what they're going to do in part 3. Let's hope it's not more of the same, because, we've done part 1 and part 2. Just it's been more exciting covering what's happening behind the scenes than what's happening on it. Anyway, more fun tomorrow. By the way, you guys, before I go, do you know how much Disney's charging for water now? Oh my God, $4 for a Dasani and $6 for Smart Water. I know, it's a lot. Did you know?